this Friday, May 8th, 2009. And boy, does time fly when you're doing 7 hours of radio a day. I am Jason Bermas. This is the Info Warrior. We're going to try to cover some of the news that we were unable to cover at the Alex Jones Show. At the very end of the show, I ran through about 10 different news stories I missed. And on top of that, we're going to play a couple video clips that I wanted to play earlier. We've got this Representative King talking about national mandatory drug testing for everybody. Sounds great. And we're also going to play this clip of Colbert. And, you know, I'm usually a defendant of Colbert and Stewart. A lot of people want to harp on them, but I can't get down with the fact that they're saying people who believe that the swine flu was a man-made virus, they hate the Jews. Of course, they must be anti-Semitic if they're trying to expose what's really going on in the world. And by the way, Baxter is now saying that they never, ever released that vaccine. We're going to go over that story. You know, let's go over that one right now. By the way, we're also going to have R.J. Harris on, who's running for a congressional seat in Oklahoma. That's coming up in the second hour. Otherwise, we're just going to straight take your calls and blitz through news. It's 866-582-9933. Government nods to preferential purchase of anti-flu medicine. The outgoing Czech Republic government on Monday accepted the offer of the preferential purchase of 12 million doses of a vaccine against the new flu, given to it by a pharmaceutical company seated in the Czech Republic. The cabinet approved the acceptance of the offer unanimously. The vaccine is to be supplied by the U.S. company Baxter. That is a branch of Bohumile, a village southeast of Prague, IDNES.CZ said. The purchase was proposed to the cabinet by Health Minister Daniel Filipivo. The cabinet discussed the issue in a closed regime, i.e. without officially releasing the decision. The cabinet approved the proposal even despite the risk that the vaccine will be left unused at last. Like, who cares if it's unused? The state will have to pay up to 300 million crowns in the reservation fee for 5 years, and an unnamed source from the government told. It is suicide not to approve this. It's suicide to approve it, by the way. The cost amount of an annual 30 crowns per citizen, outgoing Labor and Social Affairs Minister Peter Nikas is quoted as saying, the cabinet chose the Baxter company without launching a tender reportedly because only Baxter is capable of producing the vaccine in 3 months. Okay, so they're the only ones that can do it. It doesn't matter if they sent out all this bad vaccines. Let's see. Other pharmaceutical companies would need twice as much time. IDNES points out that it was Baxter who in February tried to cover up the fact that its Austrian branch had sent medicines infected with bird flu viruses to the Czech Republic and 13 other regions, by the way. Protesting against this assertion, Baxter's spokeswoman, Jana Kachova, said the material in question was no medicine contaminated with bird flu virus, but a material set for test purposes in research labs. Do you hear the spin? They send out the bird vaccine with 2 live bird flu viruses in it and a live human flu virus, and she acts like it doesn't happen. Oh no, that was just for experimental purposes. Give me a break. Let's see. The material was not designed for new production or applications to humans. That's bull. The WHO has recently registered 1,490 confirmed cases of human catches of the new swine flu, which some say threatens to cause a pandemic. 30 people evidently died of the flu, almost all in Mexico. And I don't know whether that's true or not. All I know is they're hyping it up so big in this country that they said this 2-year-old got it. He wasn't even a U.S. citizen. He had all these other health problems. And they said this 33-year-old woman died from it. But then you actually listen to the report. We're going to play it again. And they say, well, we stopped short of saying that she actually died from this new swine flu. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas back after this. Folks, I'm sitting here and I'm going through the old school Illuminati card game. Now, apparently there was about 409 separate cards. Somebody sent us a full deck with some extra cards. This is kind of like one of those Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of thing. Now, it started in 1982, and the last print of these things was in 1994, 15 years ago. Let me say that again, 15 years ago. In the upcoming segment, I am going to break down how many of these cars are just so ridiculously on point. I mean, there's more than I can go into, and yeah, there is some goofy stuff in here, but at the same time, you look at this and you're just like, oh my God, how in the world could anybody have ever predicted that these things were going to go? Let me just give you a little a taste, if you will, just a small little taste. We're going to have for the PrisonPlanet.tv members. If you've never seen these, for instance, is it just me, or does this look a little bit like 9/11 right here? There you have the Pentagon in flames, right there. Okay, Pentagon in flames, and then right here it says terrorist nuke, but it looks like one of the Twin Towers exploding. Again, we're going to go over these Illuminati cards afterwards because there's just so many subsections. We could spend all night on this card deck alone. But I want to get to news. I want to take your calls. So I'm going to go to our first call right now. Let's go to Kyle in Washington. Kyle, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason. First want to say have a great weekend. It's Friday night, you know?
No, I know it, man. I'm going to try to have a good weekend this weekend, my friend.
And I just wanted to say a comment on Alan Keyes and others getting arrested for simply speaking their mind. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't think there's enough people getting upset about this because it doesn't look like anything's going on.
Well, hopefully, these guys are going to be able to bring enough attention, and with our help, at least get some national media coverage on this, because I haven't seen it on any of the news networks. And you're right, we should still have our First Amendment. But is this any surprise after I play you a clip last night of some people going to protest Scientology? They don't even get within 400 feet of the building. They're on the sidewalk, and one of them is immediately thrown down and arrested, and the other's threatened with arrest. I mean, this is the new America, Kyle.
I know, and it's sad, and you can't. It seems like you only have free speech inside your living room, but then because it's just ridiculous that you can't even go outside, get together, and speak without being arrested or harassed or pepper sprayed or tased, or fined. It's ridiculous. Something really needs to happen. I'm not insinuating any violence by me saying that, but.
No, I totally and completely understand, my man. I mean, it sucks that we do need a really big push. We do need more exposure. We do need to bring this to the forefront, especially with the Cyberbullying Act and the Cybersecurity Act coming in, and that's trying to further restrict speech. I mean, you won't have free speech in your living room if you're typing. That's basically what they're saying, and they're trying to pass right now. It is a huge power grab. They want to see what they can get away with, and that's why they're putting these DHS documents where everybody is a terrorist, and then they're going to follow it up with NLE-09, and they're going to treat the entire population like criminal scum. I thank you for the call. Let's go to Jeff in California. Jeff, you're on the air.
Jason, how's it going?
Good.
You're a hero to me. I just have to say that.
Get out of here.
Fabled Enemies, incredible movie. I mean, it's really hard to go into everything on the air that's in that movie, so I just urge everyone to see it.
Well, thank you, man. For an hour and 42-minute film, we really must cover about 50 to 60 hardcore issues dealing with 9/11 and beyond.
Absolutely. And I just watched another movie recently, actually two movies that are really shocking, and I urge everyone to see those, Waco Rules of Engagement as well as Waco A New Revelation. When you see those movies with the old footage of the congressional hearings with Joey B. and they're just lying his butt off, and Chuck Schumer, and these people, they're practiced and they've been doing it a long time, and when you see those movies, there's no doubt that the feds went in there and just wiped those people out.
There is no doubt at all. Waco Rules of Engagement, man, was up for an Academy Award. It was actually nominated for an Oscar, and I still have people telling me they didn't gun down women and children. I'm like, you can watch the heat vision cameras as they mow them down as they're running out the back for their lives.
Oh, there's no doubt. They had machine guns set up in the back to mow down anybody that ran out of there after they inserted all that gas, and then they put an incendiary bomb of some kind on top of the roof of the bunker where all the women and children were, just to make sure that they were all finished off. So there's no doubt when you watch that movie. One other thing I wanted to cover was vaccines, all the vaccine news.
Sir, everything's okay. Baxter said that those batches of vaccine weren't for people. Those 14 countries they sent out that bird flu virus for, don't you understand? That was just for testing. They would never try to harm us, sir. They love us.
Yeah, I know, and I have to admit, I'm kind of embarrassed to admit, I wish I had gotten hip to Alex Jones and you maybe a little bit earlier, because I actually did have my